All of us are searching, knowingly or unknowingly, for enlightenment, truth, and harmony in our lives. This program, hosted by Dr. Gregory Penn, will help you aspire to a more fulfilling and rewarding life.
Hi, everybody. We're going to kick off a new episode here about cynics and what it means for people that are afraid or think your practice is some kind of a cult.
Cult.
Right?
That's what everybody tells me.
Or afraid of losing a loved one to their spiritual practice.
The cult, yeah.
And to the cult.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick.
Oh, yeah. I've faced that all my career. People don't know what a cult is. A cult is any organization that has as its main emphasis, or it's someone that they deify or worship or obey. And I'm certainly not any of that. But yeah, because when you step out of the collective, when any one of us goes, maybe I don't want to be in this collective, maybe there's something outside of that, everybody freaks out. Everybody freaks out. So the things I teach are so non-Western and kind of buck the nihilistic system that is popular now. I get accused of being a cult. I'll have couples that will come, and work for me or work with me in sessions and retreats and stuff, and one of them will get turned off. I'm afraid that, where this man is leading me, and I'm not leading you anywhere. And the other one is going, this is it. This is what I've been looking for, to step out. And they get in a big hassle. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it gets real ugly. Mm-hmm. And then it's, what can I do? Right. I just, you got to follow your authentic heart. You've got to, if you have an inkling that something like this might lead you to some other place of freedom inside, you need to follow that. And if your mate can't go along with that, then they don't love you. That's for sure. And then you have to look at that and go, well, do I stay with this person out of convenience? Spare this person their emotions or whatever? And most people succumb. It's not, yeah. Oh, my wife or husband didn't like this. I wish I could have, but I didn't, because I can't leave him. I'm codependent. I had one guy say, I have man disease. You know what man disease is. I've talked about it, where the man, he just lives for his wife and whatever she says, and she cooks and does all the things that appease him emotionally. So he has man disease and he can't leave her. Right. So he doesn't have the courage. And I've had, women say to their husbands, you get out of there now and stay away from him. Right. Because what I'm saying would open their eyes and they'd see their wife for the way they really were, or their husband, either way. And boy, that doesn't go over well. See, nobody wants to believe that they don't love. That's the big problem. Mm-hmm. They think they're fine just though. I have to appease their psychology, their logic, their reasoning. It doesn't work like that. Jesus talked about it. He said, your worst enemy are those of your own household. And if you don't hate your mother, your father, your children, your own life, you cannot be my disciple. Mm-hmm. Buddha said exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it's not me.
But people hear that and they go, what? That doesn't make a lick of a sense. But the reality is that you can still love them.
Well, yeah.
Right? Yeah. But they take it literal.
Yeah, but see what the other one, the one that's most insecure, is worried about, you're going to catch on to me. And you're going to realize I'm manipulating you. And I don't want you to, we're a family.
Right.
All right? And we don't transcend. We stick together in the muck and the mire of this family and the genetic heritage that we all have. Mm-hmm. So they have no courage. That's why.
Well, you want to take a look at a clip?
Oh.
All right, this is from The Sound of One Hand Clapping.
Oh, one of my favorite ones.
Take a look.
And some part of you knows intrinsically that if you start moving towards an authentic love that lives within you, that death will overtake you. What will that death be? It's a metaphor. I don't know what it'll be. I don't know if it'll be that you'll find that the people that were around you that so supported you in everything that you used to love to be and do, find that you've changed. You're more compassionate. Maybe you're a little more caring. Maybe you're authentic. There is nothing that blows a person away in our life than authenticity. If a person is not authentic, they can be blown away by being authentic, by you being authentic. There is a price to pay to come to love, a very big price to the ego, to my vanity, and to my pride. But if I'm willing to pay that price, if I'm willing to let go of what holds me to my hate, that is when I'm in a very special place. Are you willing to let go of what holds you to your hate?
Wow. Who is that guy?
Give him a raise.
Yeah, like nobody talks like that on TV, do they?
No.
I know.
Oh.
I know, neither do I
You've
anymore.
been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah, but people hate me for it. You know, people all think, oh, they must love Greg. No, they don't love Greg. You know, it's been an interesting career. You know, a minister's job is to get his congregation to love them. And the way you do it is you look nice. You have to look nice. I didn't have that. But you have to look nice, and you have to be clever and witty. And if you're a woman, you have to be sexy, but not too sexy. And if you can lure the congregation into liking you and getting them to say this one thing, I want to be just like you, then you've got them.
Oh.
Then you can buy your Ferrari, because they'll pay for that. They'll absolutely pay for that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, how ashram life and retreats and things like that. How is that different from, say, Jonestown, for the Cynics,
I'm not their leader.
What do you tell them, that they're freaking out,
Yeah, I tell them, look, the reason you're not understanding your life is because of this, this, and this. And if you want to understand your life, and if you want to have a different life than the one you have now, then you have to this, and this. That's all I say. And then I give them meditations. I give them Gestalt therapy to show them what's going on inside them and how they're acting and interacting with themselves and other people. But that's basically it. Yeah, it could be looked at, if you wanted to, and your mental acuity was for conflict, which most people say. You could look at it and say, he scares me. But, Buddha scared people. Jesus scared people. I mean, they killed them both. Really, they killed Jesus in a dramatic way, but Buddha had to live his life out in a very difficult environment. He had to live in the forest, It was very difficult.
I know
running from his brother.
My experience in being in ashrams, for instance, is that it's a very valuable thing to do if you're on a spiritual quest, because it takes you out of your mundane daily living and you're strictly focusing on that.
Your inner life.
Yes. And so it's a way to really give yourself a shock to the system, so to speak, and get your head out of your tuchus.
I lived in an ashram with Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, as you know, otherwise known as Osho. I don't know this Osho character, so I don't relate to him at all. I think Bhagwan wanted to leave his body. He didn't do it. He wanted, somehow he got the bug inside of him. And this can happen to anybody, that he wanted more power, more fame. So, but when I was with him, we were in a humble ashram, with everything falling apart, as that does in India, and working on ourselves. We had workshops that we had to go through, and then we had darshans in the evening with him. But it was a very interesting time, because I had lost my parents at 18, 19 years old. I was alone in the world. It was absolutely perfect. I was ordained, and I went through college, and I had still some more grad work to do, and I just knew that wasn't going to be enough. So the ashram life, we were never told to do this and do that. Never. We had opportunities to discover ourselves, and then to discover what we were, and then to drop that and find out the authentic life. And you do that on your own. All inner work is your own work. Buddha said, no one can do your work for you. Only you can do your work. And he was right. And so, if you want to look at it from a cynical point of view, I'm not here to change a cynic. I won't argue with you,
Well, how do you, if somebody's interested, how do you expose them to new ideas or consider alternatives to their ingrained beliefs?
I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
You got to find me. I hide.
Right.
It's not easy to find me. And even when you do, it's even more difficult to understand me. Mm-hmm. So I have this protection, that I've developed. I'd rather work with a smaller group of people that I can get more done with than a larger group of people to influence them to follow me. I don't want people to follow me. I want them to follow their heart. Mm-hmm. So I don't have that thing going on for greatness.
You're not trying to change the world, as you said.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to change, and I'm not trying to change people. I give them the opportunity of a lifetime that they will never find in the West to realize, to awaken. Mm-hmm. And beyond all the humbo-jumbo of my psychotic psychology and my neurotic behavior, beyond all of that, there is this pearl, and it's a pearl of great price. And you don't get it for free. You have to, you know the story. The man found this great pearl. He sold all he had so he could buy it. He could have stolen it, but he didn't. He wasn't American. So he sold everything he had to, and that's the way the practice is. If you want the pearl, you have to sell all that you are. Give it up. Mm-hmm. And if that's too much to ask, then it's not the lifetime for you to be working on yourself. Mm-hmm. And I am certainly not going to pursue you or tell you you're wrong even.
Yeah.
Just, if you're going to suffer quietly.
Well, another point that I wanted to bring up, or an observation that I have about you, is that your personality can be very off-putting sometimes.
Yeah, harsh.
When you meet somebody or something you said in a restaurant or something, and you really upset somebody or offend them, right? Well, how do you, all of a sudden you can flip a switch and say something to them, and all of a sudden you've established this, almost instantaneously, this great heart space all of a sudden where there was this friction before. How do you do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that smart, and I'm not that planned. I'm not that clever. I just turn on the light inside. I go back. I wander sometimes off the Ponderosa. You know what I mean? Yeah. And my attention, and Greg will come out and want to play with you, But what I'm always doing, and nobody gives a darn about this, I'm always testing. What are you about? I look at somebody and, what are you about? You think you are you? And sometimes I'll play the devil's advocate in that. George Gurdjieff, who I dearly respect, used to do the same thing, and I learned this in the ashram. And what he would do with people, he would actually hire someone to come into his group to antagonize the group. Hire them and pay them. Yeah, he did that. He'd have them dig a latrine, for the ashram.
Yeah.
And then he'd look at it and go, okay, move it 3 feet.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
I'm of that ilk.
Yes.
I am, and you know that.
Uh-huh.
So when I meet someone and they think they're going to be impressed with me, I kind of go, okay, well, let's see how impressed you are with me. And I'll do something that will offend them.
So that's how you deal with insulting people while you're trying to help them.
Exactly. And, I want to see what happens. It's an experiment. You're not going to help this person, but maybe you can help someone else who's like this person in some way and be able to learn from this experience. But I the first thing I like to do is just demote their belief in me.
Yeah.
You don't know me. Jesus was the same way.
Yeah.
He said, why call me good? There's none good, but he said, God, not me. He was worse than me.
Yeah.
He goes into the temple and turns it over and starts all sorts of chaos, rides the donkey and into town, which was a big, screw you to Pontius Pilate and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm nothing compared to all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to tempt the fates a little bit, see what's going on, poke around. Does that bother you? That bother
You learn about a person real quick. doing
Real
that.
quick. You might as well learn about how they're going to hate you, because they'll never love you. So you might as well figure out what are going to be the barriers with you. And then eventually, if they can hang in there, and people are insulted only by what insults them. Do you understand what I mean? If I'm meager, if I'm inside, I haven't any lick of interest in anything authentic. I just want people to take this image of me and like me for this image I put out there. You learn. Let's see. How deep do you run?
Yeah.
Most people don't run deep. And when people see me in an airport or whatever, and it happens, they'll say, "Oh, I watched your program. I always loved it." Da 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 da. So I always ask them this question: what did you learn from the program that was most important to you? I don't know. They don't know. Yeah. They don't know. They it's like, I'll vote for you. They don't know what I stand for or anything.
It felt good watching it.
Yeah, I felt good. And that's a minister's job, and,
Yeah.
to make you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, at all costs to what you're doing that's defiling you.
Right. Well, this has been a fun one. Thank you. And we get next episode we have coming up is going to be a really controversial one. It's religion versus spirituality. So make sure and come back and watch that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.